To find the set builder notation, first let's look at the definition. The set builder notation uses verbal description or an inequality to describe the numbers. Okay. So in this case, for the first one, this first example here, using a set builder notation, the domain of this function is, so this right here represents the set of all x such that x is a real number. So this is the word version of this statement right here. Okay, so basically let's dissect this statement to match this sentence. So x is basically the set of all x, which is this right here, and this line means such that, which is this right here in the sentence, and then the rest is here. The rest is here. Set x is a real number. So this is basically talking about the domain of this function. It's the domain of that function. So the function tells us y equals x squared minus 3. So the domain of this function starts from the leftmost side of the function and it goes to the right. Since we have both arrows pointing upwards, this is actually going further and further away from each other. Therefore, our domain is going to be all x values. This is going to be, domain is all x values. This is what this statement is talking about. For y, the range of this function, so again it's the same thing. The set of all y is just this y right here, set of all y. And then we have our line right here, which means such that. Let me erase that. Such that. Okay. So that means, look at over here, y is greater than or equal to negative 3. The range is going down, up. So this is the range, which is basically your y values. That's what it's saying over here. So if we're looking at the graph over here, if I'm going from down, up, where do I start? I start at negative 3. That's why, and then it keeps going and going all the way up until forever. That's why it says over here, y is greater than or equal to negative 3. All right. Next, we have the interval notation. This represents a set of real numbers by pair of values that are at left minimum, right maximum. So this is the minimum value. This is maximum value. This sign right here, symbol right here, is called infinity sign. So the bracket tells me 3 is included. The parentheses tells me it's not included. Okay, I'll explain those later. So this is the interval notation. Next one over here. So interval notation on the left side, we have brackets. This matches the less than or equal to sign. And it matches greater than or equal to 3. This bracket matches less than or equal to. On the other side. And then let's look at the next one. This one says greater than 3. It does not have equal to, so it doesn't have the line underneath. And this bracket tells me, it says less than or equal to 4. And it says it right here as well. So in words, they match. In interval notation, they match. Set notations, they match. So left is first, right is the other one, second one. And vice versa for this one. So let's look at the infinity sign. Infinity, let me use a different color. Infinity signs, if you notice here, whenever there's an infinity on the side, it's always going to be a parentheses. So infinity, side, always parentheses. Okay, so that means it's always going to be this. Less than, less than, less than, less than. No line underneath it. So you get negative infinity to infinity whenever it says all real numbers. So let's do an example here. First, let's read it. All real numbers greater or equal to 5 and less than or equal to 32. Now let's annotate it. What do I know? All real numbers. So that can be any variable you want to choose. I will use x. Next we say greater or equal to 5. So that's greater or equal to 5. So that bottom means equal to. Less than or equal to 32. That means there's a line underneath if it says equal to. Now let's see what we can come up with in the set builder notation. In set builder notation, we have braces, curly braces, and we start with our variable x, which means all real numbers. And we have a line. Then we have these signs. So when you're making this one, make sure both are less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. Not like this. Not like that. Or like this. Not like this. So they both must be pointing the same side, which is to the left. So we're starting out with a smaller number, which is 5. And our greatest number is 32, so it should be on the right side. And in the middle is your variable. Okay? So the next one, our interval notation. Interval notation. Sorry. So if we have less than or equal to and less than or equal to, do you think will it be a bracket or parentheses? Yes, it would be a bracket. It would be a bracket. So we start at 5 and end at 32. And that's your answer. Let's try the next one. All real numbers greater than -1 up to 23. So let's analyze it. All real numbers. Let's choose x again, greater than -1, greater than -1, up to 23. So it says greater than -1, so that must mean it's not included. So it's just going to be no line underneath it. And then up to 23. So that means that every number until 23. So that must mean 23 is included to our sign, to our range here. So let's do the set builder notation first. Curly braces, we have our variable x, line, and it says greater than -1. So we start at -1. And it doesn't say greater than or equal to, just greater than. So it's just the sign, inequality. In the middle is x. And it says up to 23, so less than or equal to. And then our last number is 23. And we are done. Okay. Next one, we have the interval notation. So we have less than and less than or equal to. If it's less than, is it parentheses or brackets? It's going to be brackets or parentheses. So if it's less than, it's parentheses. This one. So our first number would be -1. And the other one's less than or equal to. It's going to be a bracket, 23. All right. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments or send me a message.